another episode of Talking That Talk Official Podcast where we are comfortable in uncomfortable conversations. I am your host, Juice, aka The Ordinary Brother.
All right, what's good, world? I go by the name of King Exodus. As always, welcome back to your favorite show. If you're tapping in for the first time, welcome home. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. The link is in our bios. Juice, what we opening up with?
Oh, man. We did have some crazy situations that had happened over the past weekend to a week. We haven't been online. X was on a nice little vacation. Shout out to X for going on vacation, man. I was so happy he left the city, y'all. I don't think y'all understand. But anyway, look, look, you look like you got a chin strap now, man. That boy came back a whole different person, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back to the subject at hand. One of the most controversial things that happened that's been spiraling out for going on 2 weeks now is the situation where people are calling the lady Brick Baby. I don't know if some of y'all know about the situation or not, but it was a Somalian woman who basically said she got hit by a man with a brick who didn't want to, when she didn't give the number he requested from her, and then we're finding out more information down the line that she's been lying, she's been scamming, she's been doing this repetitively a couple times now. She also works in the medical field as well, so people are saying that she never got hit with a brick, that it's an allergic reaction that she ended up feeling like making her face react to. So my main thing is this. When the video first came out, a lot of people was just like, protect all black women. Why is nobody defending her, this and that? I have a mindset of saying, listen, let's just wait, because if anything happens, she's in a very public place and footage will be released. We find out none of this incident happened, but she quickly ran to the internet. I don't know about y'all, no disrespect. If I get hit with a brick, I'm not going to the internet. I'm not recording myself. First thing I'm doing, I'm calling 911. I'm looking for help. I'm trying to do whatever it takes to get myself in a better situation or predicament. So I just kind of want to, ask you, X, I don't know if you studied that event, man, but how did you feel about that situation?
I didn't really look into it that much. It seems to be like a repetitive thing right now. Like a lot of people are just using any form of chaos that happens in their personal life to gain some type of momentum on social media. It just tends to happen, and they don't necessarily pick on the weak. They pick on the people who would have the most emotional attachment to whatever it is that they claim to be going through. And they use that as clickbait. They use that as a way to just become popular, even if it's like for a 15 minutes of fame situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the scamming concept is very deadly right now, because people are really scamming you for your energy. They're like energy vultures.
Yes.
So at this point, you just got to be careful about what you entertain, and don't get so emotionally attached to things without actually researching them and seeing all these things are actually what they claim to be. So before we debate, before we have arguments with our family members and friends and cuss people out and cut people off because of situations that storm social media, let's actually make sure that these situations are what they are. So you got it.
Oh man, definitely. People do feed off the energy of one's hurt, one's pain. If you have felt the same thing I felt, I resonate with it. So I'm going to defending you immediately. And the crazy part is, even when all the evidence released, people are still standing their ground. I'm like, yo, I just don't. I just can't believe it. But hey, it is what it is. Another thing I wanted to talk about, man. Diddy been making some moves lately, man. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'm just kind of curious, man.
Take that.
Man, Diddy said, listen, all my artists are getting your masters back. And he said, listen, I'm in a position where we can circulate the black dollar now. Let's get it moving. Yeah, some people looking at it like, wow, did Diddy really have a change of heart? Or are people like, I wonder what his next move is, right? Why do we say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you paid attention to any of Diddy's track record when it comes to his artists, he's known for milking everything out of them. A couple years back, May said he came to him with 10 mil. Was like, listen, I'm trying to get my masters back from you. didn't want to do it then, but all of a sudden it's a change of heart, and let's get back to the black music. I remember he helped build the app. Let me also throw that in. He helped build the app. I will say that is very helpful for black entrepreneurs and black uh, individuals to get together where they can circulate and buy products from other black individuals. Forgot the name of the app. My apologies, but yeah, he was a part of that too. So, um, yeah, man. So, what do you think is going on with Diddy? Do you think Diddy got to change the heart? He's rebranding the image, man. What you think Diddy's up to, man?
Uh, uh, First off, much respect to Diddy. He's an icon in the culture.
Mhm.
Uh, Very innovative guy. Um, I think sometimes we really just don't know, like on a full scale of how genuine these actions are, or what's the long term here. But I will say it is a beautiful thing to finally give these artists what they deserve.
Mhm.
Diddy hasn't had the best reputation as far as taking care of his people in business and what have you. Uh, Allegations, it's a lot of allegations, so to say. So moving forward, let's just applaud the fact that the artists can now, what I'm saying, actually make moves, benefit from their work. Um, I mean, it's a long time coming, but it came. Better late than never. And I also like the collaboration between Diddy and EYL. I think that's very big for his image. It's big for the culture at the same time. Like sometimes we just have to take the positive actions from the people that we want them from, and not be so judgmental sometimes on how sincere it is, because we say love is an action. We don't just want people to say, hey, I love you. You want it to be shown. So now that the actions are into play, whether it's just recreating an image or not, let's just take advantage of the actions and show gratitude and appreciation and just move forward. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a pass. Everybody's name wasn't the most clean, what I'm saying, at some point in time. So shouts out to Diddy, shouts out to EYL for collaborating and making some of these things happen. He donated $1 million to that platform for those brothers to invest. So, I mean, shouts out to Diddy. Hopefully, the Diageo case works in his favor. So
Mhm.
that's all.
Yeah, a
That's
lot of
all.
people don't understand that Diageo case as well. Man, those are my kind of couple subjects right there, just for
All right.
subtopics. Did you have
One,
anything you want to put on the table?
yeah, one quick thing to double back on. Make sure your ears and emotions never supersede logic. So once you get hit with logic, let's, what I'm saying, regroup on our emotions. So this is happening a lot of times right now. The propaganda thing is really big within the world right now, especially in America. So whatever the first story is, 9 times out of 10, we don't rewrite that narrative because that's what we heard first. So that's what we rock with. So
Mm.
getting off of the brick baby situation. So China banned Apple within that government for the personal usage, and they're banning products from Apple, and the company lost $200 billion in 2 days. Now, for a company that had like 3.2 trillion in market cap, it only brought them down probably like 2.8 trillion, I believe. It's not really a big L for Apple. The biggest L for Apple would be if they don't innovate the iPhone, right? Because the iPhone 15, I think, is getting ready to drop. So it's a lot of war games that's going on. So instead of people getting like physical with the war, going and what I'm saying, spraying some shit up and boots on the ground, we're going to see a lot of things like this happen where countries just ban other countries' products and services to
Mm.
try to like drain them economically, so to speak. So
Mm.
America has banned TikTok in the governmental space, what have you. So this is kind of like a response to it. So it's just amazing to see how these types of things play out. And like I said, this is not stock advice, but just I like stocks, so just quick updates.
Uh,
We're in a
uh,
recession. For those of you who don't know, we've been in one. And what tends to happen is the market seems to reward energy stocks, oil stocks. So we have Oxy up 4%. We have Exxon Mobil almost up 3%, 2.92 to be exact. XLE up 2.36%. XLE would be an energy ETF, which would be a multitude of energy stocks, oil stocks, right? So just very interesting for people to keep over with Warren Buffett. Oxy is one of his favorites. It's actually an oil company produced in Houston, so to speak. And just very interesting how it's like a very cheap stock, but it's outperforming the whole XLE ETF, and it's like at the bottom, like with the lowest percentage, so to
Mm.
speak. So, like I say, not stock advice. You know, I just like stocks, so it's just quick updates showing that we can be versatile with information that we bring up before we do our topics. So,
Yeah, shout out to my financial advisor, X. Shout out to that dude, man. We be having a lot of talks. I said, listen, go ahead and put you on payroll in the future, man, because
yeah, yeah,
you already know. If I say my thing, I like to get into the action of producing. That's just more of my
mm,
style.
yeah.
But yeah, and also shout out to that side, Oxy, man. It's from Houston. Hey, look, we in Houston. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go ahead and do that one time for the one time. I gotta be goofy before I can. You gotta be serious all the time. I gotta make you smile, baby. But all right, man. Is there anything else you want to bring up, or are you ready to get on the subject?
Nah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll let you introduce it.
All right, y'all. Today's topic of discussion is late lessons. Right? Late lessons. We're early to some, we're on time to some, and we're late to others. Some of the things we don't understand that goes on within our life is like some people learn things later on. For myself, I felt like I was adapted at a young age to a point where I felt I was always on point. So when I got around other people, depending on the age group or age group or my own peers, I'd be like, man, y'all ain't learned that yet. And we learned that back in like 3 years ago. Hey, y'all don't know how to do that? Man, we did that back years ago. To a point where I was so happy to be the one that was always on time with or knowing something that other people didn't know. When people would hit me with it, I'd be ready to fight you, right? One of the biggest things they always say as a man, listen, you got to know tools. Y'all, I still don't know tools like that to this very day, right? One of the easiest things I can always identify is a hammer, screwdriver, and some basic pliers. But at one point I couldn't. I remember when I was working as a landscape in the landscape field. As I working with the owner, the contractor, he was like, "Hey man, hand me a set of pliers." I looked at him crazy. Y'all, I'm 12 years old at this point. I said, "What's that?" He was like, "You know what pliers are?" He said, hold on. Come here. You're playing, right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm serious. Like, I wasn't raised around tools growing up." And he was like, "Well, every man needs to know this thing." So he went to his toolkit. He said, he's like, "Point me to a flathead." I grabbed a regular screwdriver. He said, "Well, point me to a mallet." He's like, yo, are you serious? Like, you should know this stuff. You're a man. But like I said, you relate to some things in your life. You just got to face it. So when situations like that arise, do you take time to learn the things that you didn't learn before, or things they already pre-assumed that you should know, or do you run away from it? So this subject is going to be a lot of versatile different things, things that happened within my childhood. X might bring up some things on his end. For instance, one of the things they say you should know how to work on know tools. You should know how to hunt. You should know how to fish. Yeah, I fished one time in my life. Don't know how to skin a fish. I never went I never went hunting. Don't know how to skin an animal. But these are things that they said that we should already learn. So people who already got it already feel like the ones who don't have it are going to be behind in case the situation pops out and survival kicks in. So that's just a little something.
All right. Look, knowledge and information is infinite. So no one person will learn everything. So the more you know, the less you know. That's the golden like thing to constantly repeat. So it's always room to improve and learn. Sometimes we get into this whole type of thinking that everybody should know what we know.
Mm.
And that's a false narrative because if everyone should know the same thing, it wouldn't be great or outstanding. You wouldn't even stick out as a person if everybody knew the same things. So some people live into a space to where they feel as though um, it's just completely your responsibility to learn the things that you should learn in life to be able to navigate throughout life. True. But some people's mentalities don't expand past their reality, their environment, you have different factors that keep people in the box.
Hmm.
It can be their religion, it could be, anything. It could be their privilege, it could be their disadvantages, it could be their race, it could be whatever. So everyone needs some type of shock value in life, something to open your mind so that you can actually think outside of it. First, you have to realize you're in a box
Hmm.
to think outside of the box. You know what I mean? And then it's very interesting how, like in sacred geometry, they have like the square and the circle, and in that space, it's the same thing, 360 degrees. So the shape of the object doesn't make the object different. It's all about the degrees. So these are just certain things that people input into their minds to have them think of things outside the box, so to speak. So it would be a late lesson in life to learn that no two people necessarily see the world exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? We can agree on 8 things. It don't mean we're going to agree on 10 things.
Hmm.
So the way that you coexist is just knowing that everyone is at different levels in life, and that's something you just have to keep in mind. We tend to disrespect people for the things that they don't know, even if they honestly tell you, "Hey, I don't know that." So now we have to be humble, right? And be able to teach and then also be able to learn. Because just because you're able to teach somebody one thing, it don't mean you're completely smarter than that person. That's
Hmm.
where the balance comes in at. That's that whole reciprocity within that relationship. So we just have to get out of our box that we think in and get it out of our ego. You feel me? So some people believe in God, some people believe in the universe, but you can't think that God or the universe didn't put certain people into your life for y'all not to balance each other out. We get into our ego and we think the relationship is based on us being a teacher and not realizing that in order to be a teacher, you still have to be a student at the same time.
Hmm.
So I would just simply say that if you were privy to certain sources of information, you were able to come across certain people that drop game on you, consider that as a blessing, right? Don't tap into your ego and then shit on the people that don't know what you know. You give back not within the particular capacity of money, but you give back with knowledge and information. Each one teach one. You know what I mean? So that's my opening round into it. We just have to realize that not everybody was taught the same things. Sometimes, and then sometimes people could actually look at the opposite sex. Like a woman can feel like a man should know all these different types of things on how to be a man. A man can look at that same woman and say, look, you really don't know how to be a woman. So where's the balance? A lot of times in life, you're probably going to end up teaching your partner how to fit certain needs and things that you want within that particular relationship. You know what I mean? So that's my opening. I'll let you do your thing.
Oh man, great opening, great opening, great opening. I definitely say what he said is correct. And the funny thing is, can you ever be late to a lesson at the same time? That's always interpreted within your mind or when you feel like you should have learned things. Now, we can always look at like early childhood, why they always say like math, science, be able to read, certain things like that. Some people don't learn that stuff till down the line. So you're gonna really tell them they're late? Or the fact that they went into working first, then when they was able to get free time, they started learning. That's why I said like with this title is more so just to throw it out there to give you the perception that sometimes you're not really late at all. It's just that if you didn't know, you didn't know. Sometimes the environment comes into play, and sometimes the openness to want to learn. That's a bigger thing. uh, One of the biggest things that I have seen within my life is within relationship is like sex roles and relationships alone. Right? I might be dating somebody. I'd be like, "Yo, a man never taught you this. They didn't teach you how to do this." Man, I don't even know why I want to deal with you. You know, you deal with weak men, right? But then listen, it can always be flipped back to me if somebody says like, "Well, hey, your mama didn't teach you this. You didn't teach you this, man. Your mama must have been weak. She didn't teach you how to be a son or a better man." I was like, it can always go back and forth, but it's how we're gonna teach the other individuals. And I said this earlier. It's been one of the biggest things in my life. I have always felt at a certain age or a certain interaction when I bring up certain questions or topics. If you don't know about it, I always felt there was a problem there. I was like, "Yo, how you don't know about this?" And no matter how how much of a person would express to me how they don't know, part of my ego would trip in and be like, man, I don't know if I want to deal with this. But at the same time, when roles was flipped, it was like, damn, some people either continue the relationship with me or they didn't. I couldn't be mad at that at the same time, right? We talked about mannerisms to appropriate apparel appearance, anything. There's always different environments to where you'll see situations come out to play. Like, what happened? I think one of my homeboys one time, I think he wore sneakers with a suit. This was like early on in the day. And, everybody's like, you're not supposed to wear sneakers with a suit. Now you see the new trend. People are wearing sneakers with certain suits now. So he was like, hey, listen, I didn't have dress shoes, but, I wanted to make sure I still show up. So he's getting chastised by other people, but at the same time, if nobody taught him that, how could we be ashamed of that? So it's just different things that play out that people just don't know. The harmony and balance between, like I said, male and female relationships. Uh, I have always put myself in a certain position to lead a relationship, to want to help a woman become better, and also just it's a different feeling knowing you can actually lead a relationship, man. I don't know what to tell y'all. I've always said anytime I'm dealing with somebody, I get them a gun license, I do certain things, make sure participate in certain activities. It's just to educate them.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when you're so warped in your mind where you feel like you have already built yourself a certain way, you're already looking for somebody who's already built the same way as you. Now understanding like, hey, listen, you can still work with this person because they're willing to learn, but are you willing to be patient? And that has always been one of my biggest things. Do I want to be patient in teaching somebody when I already felt like they should have learned something? And when teaching someone at the same time, you're also learning yourself certain things. So I always remember that even when you're teaching, you're still learning something at the same time.
I always say you're never where you think you are, right? Um, a lot of people say I'm a good person. I'm not talking about me. I'm just saying a lot of people think, oh, I'm good. I'm not a bad person. Well, in my mind, you're only as good as your last thought, and you're only as good as your last action. Fuck what you think about yourself in totality. Actions, right? You can think whatever you want to think about yourself. You're only as good as your last thought. You're only as good as your last action, which means you always have work to do. You know what I'm saying? I can have days where I wake up, boom, wake up early, get into the flow state of the day, stretch, work out, meditate, do whatever, read my positive affirmations, right? Go to work, have a great day, hit the gym, impact people, podcast, whatever. Then I can have certain days where I don't do one of those things, two of those things, three of those things. Guess what? That flow state that I think is just belonging to me because I'm who I am, that shit's gone. So every day you start over. And every action is what gives you your energy or your judgment of who you think you are. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people have this concept of heaven and hell. God is watching, devil is watching. You're being clocked, you're being judged. But then we pick it up and throw it away when we want to. So you're never where you think you are. You're only as smart as you continue to put information into your mind and learn new things. You don't want to be an expert in a particular area and then you feel as though, okay, I got this shit. You never have it. There's always something else for you to tap into. There's always different people for you to have conversations with. There's always a step up that you have to tap into. So a lot of people, it's easier for them to look at money and have these type of thoughts because you always want your bank account to increase. But what about your health? What about your energy? What about your character? These are things that you should never feel like you mastered any of this shit, right? Because you still have breath. So every day you restart. You know what I'm saying? So this is word to the wise. You're never where you think you are. So it's damn near impossible to judge where other people are because you should be so busy trying to obtain the highest image of yourself, right? That you won't have room to look down on the other people. You know what I'm saying? You can be the best person on planet Earth. You can be the most conscious, the most woke, most peaceful. I guarantee you could curse somebody out or get ready to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? If you just off your game on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we really just got to get out of the arrogance, man, and just know that every action adds up to a reality. Every action adds up to an energy that you carry. And we can't get into certain situations and think that I'm too big or I'm too good to be here, or I'm too big or I'm too good to cheat somebody else or judge somebody else based on where they at. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of opportunities to tap into a lot of information, meet people, do whatever. And every day I still wake up with negative energy. And it's not a bad thing. It just means it's always work to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I combat the negative energy is through positive actions, right? So this is why certain people constantly stay in philanthropy. This is why certain people constantly stay in a quote unquote flow state because they work for the shit. You know what I mean? So this words to the wise. Another point I can make is a late lesson in life is that you learn to really think for yourself because sometimes, you know, in our community, I don't know about everybody else, but you grow up seeing the world through the eyes of who you're raised by. You know what I'm saying? So a young boy can grow up hating his father or hating family members or hating certain people, and that hate was taught through the eyes of whoever you heard stories from. Then you get a little bit older and you're like, oh shit, this what really happened? This how this went down? This person really didn't do that? So in life, mending relationships and getting outside of that box is very key and critical because it's multiple sides to every story. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of people grow up hating people, but the hate was given, it was taught. It's not natural hate that they really have. So once you get older, you find out your father's side of the story. You find out, you know, family member side of certain stories. Now you have to regroup. You got to go back to that box, break the lock on that box, and now you have to show love to these people because you were wrong. Some people just feel like if I grew up hating people or if I grew up looking at people as ops, whether it's by way of they live on that street, they wear that color, uh, they belong to this race, and it's fuck them for life. Once you get hit with the concrete truth of how everything started and who told what lies or whatever, let's recreate the energy between these relationships. So just because you were taught to see the world a certain way, it's no excuse to carry that energy on forever. You don't owe loyalty to misconceptions. You only have loyalty to truth. So once you get hit with truth, now we have to recalibrate, whether it's a religious thing, whether it's a spiritual thing, whatever. Once you get hit with truth, don't be afraid to recalibrate and put positive energy into these relationships. You could be raised to be a Democrat your whole life. You get hit with a couple of facts, harsh truths. Don't feel like you betraying your bloodline because you go change your vote. It's your vote. You can do what the fuck you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you want to put your money into whatever because you actually did the research, knowledge, and whatever it is, know that you can recreate the energy between relationships. You don't have to stay stagnant. You don't have to think the way you were raised to think about certain people and things. So you got it.
Man, perfect. What you're saying. Literally, my next bulletin was, "Can you be corrected?" Being corrected is one of the hardest things that people can take when learning anything, right? Uh, One of the biggest things when it came to me, I was very athletic. I could not stand to be corrected. Right? Hey, look, your form's bad. Hey, you want to get a little lower. Hey, you want to be able to do. I could not stand to be corrected, and I realized it actually traveled with me even outside of athletes, out of playing sports. Right? Being corrected would just do something to my soul, man. To a point where I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be right but wrong at the same time. Right? Meaning I can do something correctly, but I'm doing something wrong at the same time. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing now. Like I said, relearning things about me, checking my ego, being able to, uh, like I said, even my arrogance gets checked at times. But harsh realities of being corrected will stir something inside you and make you want to attack somebody, right? I remember one time, this was between me and X. Uh, X was like, "Yo, put your guards up." X was a boxer, right? I had a certain stance, did a couple jabs. He like, "All right, now I'm going to teach you how to really box." I'm like, what? I'm like, but I've been beating niggas ass like this all my life. I've been beating niggas
Hey,
ass
my
like this my
record
whole life,
good,
man.
man. What you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Come on.
So you like, yeah, that's cool, bro. But I'm letting you know you're losing power here. You're losing balance here. If I move here, I'll cut you off here. Look, I'm telling y'all, man, within 30 minutes with X, I was just frustrated in my mind. And it's all mental, like I said, when it comes to being corrected. Like I said, I'm just giving you an exercise that we did. And like I said, he had the patience to be like, hey, listen, man, I know that nobody taught you, but if you're going to learn, you need to learn properly. Otherwise, these are the reasons why people have masters and senseis, and then they stop teaching them because they realize, ain't no point. You're gonna do what you want to do. These are how people lose mentors at the same time. When they can't be corrected, they can't get checked, and they can't understand, listen, master this first, and then we can move forward to another step. Like I said, the ability to be corrected has hindered me in some areas, and now I'm way more open as I got older. So be able to understand when somebody's just correcting you, yo, just be receptive to it. And at the same time, some people who correct you, you might actually know the right answer, but let them finish and then tell them, well, hey, this is how we learned from here and got here. Like I said, it's very interesting because coaching, you get multiple different perceptions on how people teach, and everybody teaches you something different. Some are similar, and other people have different patterns. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, One of the lessons I learned in life every day, that means it's not, I ain't even mastered it. But when you think you got something going on, when you think your shit is bad, when you think you got problems, it's always somebody else that got more shit going on than you. I don't care how bad you think your shit is. Case in point, Juice, I had a recent situation. Had to come off a lot of money, get some things fixed, and all the positive things was in my face. At least you got the money, at least you got the credit, at least you're getting it done, at least it didn't take for something bad to happen. You fixed it. Ego is like, but that's my money though. Like, spent that shit. I worked for it. That ain't what I wanted to spend that shit on. Feel me? So I go to the grocery store. I got somebody with me. Get out the car. I see a SUV and they ain't got a back window. It's just nothing there. Just nothing. Open. I say, dang. They like, why you say that? I'm like, well, shit. Don't ask me why I said it. You see you know what I'm talking about. So I just said it. You feel me? I ain't supposed to say it. And it hit me right then and there. Yeah, I am complaining about, what I'm saying, getting some work done in my car that works fine. And somebody don't even have a fucking window in that shit. And it just hit me like, damn, bro, like this is a constant lesson. Like every everybody has somebody else you may not know, you may come across, you may just see certain things. There's always somebody else that got a more of a horrific story than you. It's somebody that went through something that you've never been through. It's somebody that's struggling more than you are struggling. So we just got to get out that fucking box of being so self-centered and selfish and only looking at your problems and thinking that your problems actually fucking matter because it's somebody else that don't have what you have to get through those problems. So you have people that's like, committing suicide, people that's feeling like life is over, and it's always somebody else that, what I'm saying, coulda, shoulda, woulda pulled that trigger a long time ago, but they didn't. So if we don't get outside that box and actually open our eyes to see that, look, we pass up homeless people so much that we don't even show gratitude that we have somewhere to live. The ungrateful shit that we do is like condemn where we live if we don't live like the millionaires or the people that's, what I'm saying, living in the most expensive places. We shit on what we have because we're looking at what we don't have, but you overlook what you have. And then there's somebody else that you passed up. You passed up 5 people on the street and that shit didn't even touch you. It didn't even affect you. I'm not saying you got to give them something, but I'm just saying it's always somebody else that's in a worse position than you. And it's just very interesting that we can try to teach our kids this information when they're being ungrateful, but here we are as grown adults should have all the common sense in the world, all the logic, all the understanding, but we still have not mastered that one thing that every day is somebody else that got less than what you have. So, the gateway to infinite success and positive energy is gratitude. Be grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like you ever been to a church service and they prayed and that shit was like 30 minutes because they was just constantly asking for more shit and more shit and more shit. Yo, we should reverse that narrative and be like, for 30 minutes, let's just say thank you. For 45 minutes, let's just say thank you for what we have. You know what I'm saying? So we live in a very fucked up society because no one shows gratitude. Even our poverty in America don't even compare to other people's poverty in other countries. Yeah, I get it. We black, we disenfranchised. It's a little harder for us. Different races and groups of people. You got classism, but at the same time, the poverty here is still luxury in a lot of other places. Feel me? So even our relationship with America is traumatic. It's so traumatic that we don't even look at this place as being an advantage at the same time. You begin to overlook all the advantages that you have being here because you're so locked in and focused on all the negative things. So, word to the wise, like Nipsey said some shit like, make sure your circle is a circle and not a cage. Like every conversation you have,
It's right there. Right on
yeah,
point.
every friend you have, everything you do, let's just make sure we exchange positive energy because it's so easy to look at all the negative shit in the world. It's easy. Like we don't have to dig and dig and dig to find negative things to talk about. So staying into that positive state, you always lead with gratitude. And it's very hard to steer off the road of positivity if you're always showing gratitude for what you have. So, I question people's relationships with what they claim to believe in or who they claim to be because you're never happy. You can't go to church 5 times a week, 4 or 3 times a week, every Sunday, stay for every service, know all these scriptures and verses and all these different things, but on the inside, you're a shitty person. You think like shit, you eat like shit, you live like shit. You don't have no positive energy to give to nobody because you're a negative person and you're hiding all that negative energy under belief because you're claiming to believe in something. So it's all about actions and it's all about gratitude. So I'll let you do your thing.
No, man. Definitely be more thankful in this world. Um, I always say, this is my personal saying. I have always said, you're an example of what to do and not to do. You're a lesson every day. You do understand that, right? People learn from you every day. They'll be like, okay, I can do that, or I don't need to do that. And until you start walking with that mindset of like, listen, let me try to make the best of that of every situation, you truly don't know how much you affect people, right? I remember watching situations from fights that was like, hey, listen, I would have did this if I was in there, to like people breaking up fights, like, you know what, they was right to break up that fight that was on this. Yeah, it's all about the activities you're seeing and how it's done, right? And not to mention, sometimes it's the energy you feed into that stakes your judgment, right? If you're an aggressor, then you might like the fact that another person's being aggressive. And sometimes you might hate it because it's the, you know what I'm saying? It's the same as you. People don't even like the people who have the same energy as them. That's another thing. That's a whole different story. But the way you come about things that happen within your lifestyle or life or with people around you is you can always model things by certain examples or keep certain things within your mindset as you take steps throughout the day. It'd be times people hit me up like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I be wanting to tell people like, man, I don't fucking know. I be wanting to crack sometimes. But hey, like a part of me is a program myself is like, yo, you just got to keep going, bro. This is the only way they told you how to get to the next side of the world and get to wherever you got to keep going, right? I talked about, for instance, this year I was just like, listen, I'm just gonna buy a suit. I'm gonna start my suit collection, and I'm gonna start displaying colognes. I was buying cologne samples three to 4 years ago. So people were like, oh man, you just not getting into that. No, I'm not displaying it. And for me displaying it, I didn't have people start buying colognes and buying suits. That shit crazy to me. And I just like, listen, I'm just doing something I wanted to do. And then it kind of hit me in my mind. I was like, listen, every man should have basic suits. An all black suit is very universal, and just have all right, a navy or a tan. That's just me. But as I was get as I started getting molded by other people and higher ups, I'm learning even lessons within them because they're still learning it between themselves, right? I One of the teams is doing product research, right? He's so data driven, he doesn't care about actual people. That's the bad part, right? Imagine you create a shitty product because your numbers say it's going to sell, but you actually have people who actually get out there with testers,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll tell you like, hey, listen, this product's not going to sell. Hey, we don't like the texture of this shirt. This material's too heavy. They'll tell you all that to where like, listen, if we don't listen to them, we're going to lose money. And to them, they realize like, listen, the data's there, but what about the consumers? We need to make sure if they're gonna buy, they're gonna buy the correct stuff, and not that we just buy the cheapest shit and throw it out there. So that's another thing. Like being around different people, they realize like they're stuck in their own bubble because now they want to be around amongst each other, and they forget the outside world that hey, other people are still going through different things that we might need to cater to what's going on, and not what's just being uploaded in the data. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, Going back to the relationship side of the conversation, um, a lot of people, like I say, going back to that box, they think that the other person is always the problem, right? They think that they're always somebody else's blessing. Look, a lot of times in life, you don't necessarily attract the right or the perfect person for you necessarily in totality. You attract the right person at the right time for you. So a lot of experiences is just that. These are experiences to prepare you for something to come, right?
Mhm.
We get so locked in on just having biased perceptions of why certain things don't work out. And it's kind of going back to the whole like belief system. Like a lot of people would get further in life if they would actually pay attention to why they came across certain people and just pay attention to the energy that they have in full retrospect, right? So even if it's not an intimate relationship, you have people that have like friends that have great knowledge and information, impact, wisdom, but a lot of people don't value those friendships enough to listen to those people because they think that the information should come from somewhere else. So
Ooh.
you actually waste time thinking you're saving time by listening to certain people and just realize that look, people that you come across that you have close connections with, 9 times out of 10, it's not by coincidence. There's always things to be learned. So everybody just have to be open-minded in these situations, even on an intimate relationship level. I know that everybody want to be the prize nowadays. People debate about who's the prize, the man or the woman, what have you. But then some people just be like, look, we each other's prize. It sound cute. It sound good. But if you're not reevaluating every single action, everything that you're learning and everything that you're giving to people, then you're not really growing from these experiences, what have you. So, you know what I mean? So, and another key point is everybody want to be entrepreneur, influencer. Everybody want to be these great, iconic people, but no one knows how to deal with resistance. We think when we get hit with resistance, that means we're doing something wrong. Let's go do something that tends to flow better. And that's not necessarily the case. Everything you do great is going to be met with some type of opposition at multiple levels. It never really stops. So you have to learn life. It's lessons to life, it's levels to life. And every lesson comes with a different upgrade in life and your mentality. So your obstacles should never stop. You should change your philosophy with obstacles. You know what I'm saying? Like every opportunity for you to grow and expand comes with an obstacle.
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, like somebody told me a couple of years back, look, God don't like comfort. You know what I'm saying? When life get too comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Some people just really need to get shaken up. They need to get woken up out of that comfort and get back in grind mode, get back in focus mode, get back in hustle mode. So late lessons in life, look, just know that resistance don't mean it's the end. It just means it's an opportunity for you to become stronger. You know what I'm saying? So many people tap out on life, tap out on their visions, their goals, their dreams because they think they're doing something wrong. Now, you could actually be doing the wrong thing. I'm not I'm not saying you're right all the time, but you shouldn't give up so fast because you get hit with a little resistance. That's what's going to make you stronger. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to do something as simple as getting into shape, that's a lifelong journey. You know what I'm saying? There is no particular shape that you get into and now you just stop all the hard work and dedication because as quick as it takes for you to, or long as it takes for you to tap into a certain physique, it can be lost just within a couple of wrong actions or moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to be be wary of these things. You know what I mean? Like resistance only means that you have room to grow. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you could be doing the wrong thing, and you just have to recalibrate. But 9 times out of 10, you just have to keep pushing. It won't be too long-winded. Hopefully, I'm not long-winded. But I was listening to a documentary on Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of my favorite wrestlers, and I didn't know that dude uh, went through extreme poverty just to wrestle. I didn't know that plenty nights he didn't eat, you know what I'm saying, until he got a contract with WCW, lost that, you know what I'm saying, later on. Went to ECW. Some people don't know what the hell I'm talking about. We dropped out
Sorry.
of got recruited from ECW to the WWF, and then from there, I mean, all this shit took almost 10 years for him to actually become the character that he became and blow up and pop and be this iconic figure. So, you know what I'm saying? Some things in life just take time. If you want to be great and iconic or just sometimes average, sometimes it takes time to put in the work and learn the lessons. If we don't get shit within 2 years, couple of months, we throw it away and then we move on to the next thing. Like we have to stop this type of mentality. Like if it's what they say, if it come fast, 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna last. You know, fast money don't last too long. You gotta pace it. We have all these narratives that we throw around, but we really don't know what the fuck we're talking about
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of these great iconic people, look, you're looking at 10 years of struggle, grind, hustle, grit, error, right? But through the era, this is what makes these people great and iconic because they learned lessons. So just, you know, word to the wise. Sometimes you really got to throw away the concept of time and just stay focused on what it is that you want to accomplish. And the bumps, the bruises, the setbacks, sometimes enjoy that shit because once you obtain whatever these goals are, you're going to be met with new opposition. And sometimes, like, you know, J. Cole said, sometimes on certain songs, being broke was better. And poor people look at that shit and they like, I don't know about that shit. But some people actually live that life. You know, Big said more money, more problems. You know, once again, the poor person is not going to actually correlate with that until they actually step into that space and realize, okay, bet, I got money, I got what I wanted out of life, but I lost my family. I lost this, I lost that. So just stay open minded and understand resistance. You got it.
Man, listen, I'm about to put some resistance on this body. I'm gonna hit the gym when we done. But but listen, like you said, it's a
Shout out
never.
to the people that don't go to the gym that just, you know, they take alternatives to get their body. Shout out to
Man,
them too.
listen, man, I'm back at it. Man, shout out to X, man. You've been telling me about this product for years, and I've been trying every other product.
Hey, 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 you got to be humble. You can't shit. Like I say, you know, like a lot of you people, you rain on other people's parade because you want to be like, I told you so. If you would have like chill out on that shit too. Like if a person has already learned a lesson, they don't need somebody to stand over their shoulder and make them feel lower than, you know what I'm saying? Like don't that I told you so shit. Throw that in the trash. That's petty. Just be happy that, you know what I'm saying, somebody actually learned the fucking lesson and move forward. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What you was getting at, Ray?
Better late than never.
Well, what you getting at right there, man? Like, what you getting at right there?
And some
What you
people
getting
got to
at right
point
there,
out, you know what I'm
man?
saying? Yeah. I ain't the
I
I told
totally.
you so kind of person. Feel me?
But
What else,
man, that's
man?
pretty much it when it comes to late lessons. Like I said, don't ever be too old to a point you can't learn from somebody younger. That's another thing. Value to you too. I don't know why people feel like they can't learn from people that's younger than them, but automatically we're supposed to learn from people who's older because they've been on Earth longer. Sometimes you waste your time being around older people because I learned. I told X before. I said, bro, I learned how childish old people are every time I get on Facebook. Facebook was always supposed to be the mature social media platform. When I see things go left, it's always older people. It has always been. If I ever need a reminder of older people being mature or immature, I just got to go to Facebook anytime, anytime. So, but at the same time, you have some people who have it set in their mind that like I'm older, wiser. You know, why should I have to listen to you? I'll be like, listen, that's stupid. There's things you can learn from everybody, right? Um, and you should be able to be humble enough to understand or listen to somebody's story. I remember listening to a kid's story. I'm thinking, man, he can't even talk in complete sentences. But you know how you engage? We're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, what you went to the store? Man, he must have said something that really clicked in my head. I was just like, what just happened there? So when you're open minded to receiving any type of information from a younger person to somebody your peer or somebody older, be receptive at the same time. Just be willing to hear somebody out and see how you can take a little bit of that information and move forward. That's one of the main things. And like I said, even for me, man, even for me, I didn't struggle being around people I already thought should already had it. Or when I had certain conversations, I'd be willing to kick people out to the side, man. I say don't do that anymore. It's come from me. I'm one of the most. Nah, I ain't gonna say that on there. I just say I'm a tough cookie. It's a tough cookie. I'm just saying I'm a tough cookie. That's all. That's all you get. That's all you get. I almost had some cases.
Man, look,
Oh man.
I told you, I'm like, look, man, you know, life is like, just imagine certain people just really don't listen. They let less is more sometimes. You feel me? Sometimes
That's
people
my
just had
favorite
a
word.
hard-headed mentality.
Mhm.
I was like, Juice, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be myself if I ain't tell y'all this. I'm like, Juice, look, just, you know, sometimes think about like when you're in a poem, you feel me? Like, what if you just come across a chick and she say, look, just put it in, let me rock it, do my thing, and that's all I need from you. But you're like, nah, I'm gonna flip you over, I'm gonna put you in this position, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna beat your shit up, I'm gonna do this. That's not what she want from me. You feel me? So it's like sometimes we could do too much, and you know what I'm saying, thinking that it's what we want to do, but we're not listening, you know what I'm saying, to other people. Sometimes less is more. So in life, you always want to navigate faster but at the same time. So you only do that through listening and always remembering sometimes less is more. Sometimes we want to do what we want to do, how we want to do it, and the shit just never works. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes your role in obtaining a certain level of success may not be what you think it should be, but you still could be in a group of successful people if you just know how to play your role, adjust, and listen. You may get that big break or that position or whatever later, but we still can save time on being successful. Like some people are brilliant, talented, but they struggle because they stuck in their own way. They're not listening to everybody in their life that they need to listen to because they know it all. Or they have what they think they need and they think they're going to just make something happen out of nothing. But life is saying, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. So you always want to keep your ears open. You know what I mean? Like everybody believe in God and it's interesting, but nobody listen to people. Like, so how do you think this energy is going to speak to you? Is you supposed to hear some words out the clouds, or you want a bush to catch on fire in front of you? Like, what do you want? It's only going to come through people. So you have to keep your ears open and just learn. You know, shouts out to the people like Floyd Mayweather's father. It's a lot of humility and understanding life to possibly not succeed at a certain level on an individual basis, but still play a pivotal role in somebody coming after you, having them succeed, giving them the knowledge and information, and then you still live a successful life. You just want the star of the show. You're still a part of the show. You have a pivotal role, but you didn't go out as the hero of the story. But with every hero, with every person on the stage, your favorite artist, your favorite athlete, they have a circle of people around them that play a role in them becoming what they are. So you're still successful. You're just not the LeBron James, but you got Rich Paul. Feel me? So all these people have to be on a certain level of performance and understanding their roles to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. And let's just go back to gratitude. You have to think of life as being bigger than yourself. So you got it, man. If you want to be the icon and start a show and be broke because you never obtain those goals, go ahead. Join the right circles, play the roles, adjust, do what you got to do. You may get your break later or not. Who cares? But if the check's clear, your family live a better life. Look, your name's still going down in the history books. So you got it.
No, man. I mean, that's it right there. I always tell people play your role, man. You ain't got to be a star as long as you're in the position. Shoot, sports. We talk about it. We talk about what? Chicago Bulls. One of the prime example. Everybody played a pivot. Everybody played a role.
Hey, you might love that woman. You might not never be her husband. You might be her work husband or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, play your role. I was just playing, man. Man. You might be the side chick. Well, say play your role. You know what I mean? No, I'm just playing, man.
Here goes
All
from
right.
here to like, yeah, man, just be your role. Man.
Play your role, man. Be happy. Do what makes you happy, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right.
All right, man. All right, man. You go ahead and wrap it up on that, man. I ain't coming after that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's deep water right there, right? All right. So, Talking and Talk official podcast. We're going to one episode a week. So yeah, less is more, guys. You're gonna have to watch us more. All right. So we got the YouTube link in both of our bios. Up top, we got No Ordinary Brother. I go by the name of King Exodus. We thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Make sure you share the video, comment. We like commentary. We love commentary. I can't lie. Continue to share. Continue to be a part of the show, and we are out.
All right, y'all.